West Coast Main Line. It's outside of Preston. And soon there's going to be a Midland Pullman, I think. It's due through here at 10:01. That was a Northern Rail Class 323 that just went past. Here goes an Avanti West Coast, Class 390. On its way to Glasgow Central. next train on track 4, which is up fast. It's going to be a Pendolino. We're going to get a HST, the Midland Pullman, on the down fast. Here comes an Avanti West Coast, class 390, on its way to London Euston. And after that, there'll be the Midland Pullman. There we go, that's class 43, Midland Pullman, and that is on its way to Edinburgh, I think. Number 43055 and 43049 Neville Hill, and it's on its way. It's going from Oxford to Edinburgh Waverley. Next train will be the Barrow-in-Furness to Manchester Airport. It should be a northern train service. And that'll be with us shortly. It'll be a northern service going to Manchester Airport. And the next train after that will be another Avanti West Coast, class 390. It's been hard to get a shot today with the camera because the sun's firing right at where I am, so I've had to sort of like crank it down a bit on an angle to avoid the sun. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, double tap the screen, it all helps. Over the Christmas period, there should be some interesting stuff to film because the West Coast main line's shut from the 24th of December, I think, to the 15th of January north of Preston. So there's going to be some interesting routings, I hope, down the East Lancs line. So it might make for interesting viewing coming off this junction here where I am. I'm hoping they're going to use the Everos, the Avanti 805 Everos, to go down the Settle Carlisle line. I'm hoping that's what they're going to do. Just have to see what happens. Something approaching, but I don't know what it is. It's the Manchester Airport to Glasgow Central, and it is a Transpennine service. Currently running at 10 minutes late, which doesn't surprise me for Transpennine. That is a Class 397. Off to Glasgow Central. Should have been here at 9:55. In 4 minutes we should have the Barrow Furnace to Manchester Airport. This train is currently on platform 4 at Preston. And is due to leave Preston at 12 minutes past, which means it'll be with us here at 14 minutes past. And that train goes to Manchester Airport after stopping at Chorley, Bolton, Deansgate, Manchester Oxford Road, Manchester Piccadilly, then Yatley, and then Manchester Airport. Sun's reaping havoc with my camera, but there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. forget, if you're new here, double tap the screen. What's happened to the Northern Manchester Airport service? Should have been here 2 minutes ago. What's new? There goes the Northern, class 195. That's going to Manchester Airport. Always has to be a 195 because it's come from Barrow-in-Furness, and up in the Lake Districts there's no overhead cabling, so they have to use diesel power, hence why it's a 195 and not the usual 331 that passes through here. His train is in 4 minutes and he's going to Blackpool North, another northern service. From Manchester Airport. And there's another Manchester Airport to Blackpool North. And then a Liverpool Lime Street. We'll just have to see what develops. Just a bit annoyed with that sun. It's just, fortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Try and tilt the camera and mess about, but you just end up worse off. It's the best I can do with the sunlight. And there goes a Northern Class 331 electrical multiple unit, and that's going to Manchester Airport. And amazingly, it's on time, which is a novelty. And approaching, we've also got another Northern service that's going to Blackpool North, and that's I don't know what that is yet until I get an eyeball on it. See the headlights, but that's about it. I'm getting dazzled to death by the sun, unfortunately. It's another, what is it called? That's a Northern Rail class 323. And that's going to Blackpool North. Oh, so they've got a bit of a lull now. Slight lull. Next train, I think, is Manchester Airport to Barrow-in-Furness. So that'll be on track 3, which is the down fast. But I mean, it's not. I've just seen one approaching, and it's not the Barrow-in-Furness train. It's on track 1, which is the nearest track to us, which is the down slow. And that is going to Blackpool North. I don't know why, but every time, every hour, this train that comes through at 28 minutes past always comes through slowly. So just don't know why that is. But it does it every time, comes through slowly. That's going to Blackpool North. Another class 331. Class 331 and the class 195 are identical externally, apart from one has a pantograph and one doesn't. And the 195s go up to the Lake District, you see, where there's no overhead cabling. The next train on track 3, according to the timetable, should be the 10:29 going to Barrow-in-Furness. Should pass us at 10:29. And this is a 195, you'll notice, same as the 331, but no pantograph, as it's a diesel multiple unit. It's a CAF, what they call a CAF 195, which I think were made in Spain. Don't quote me on that. Correct. They are Spanish. It's a Spanish publicly listed company which manufactures railway vehicles and equipment and buses as well. And it turned over 2.9 billion last year. 2.9 billion. So they're doing all right. It's CAF. It's been established for over 20 years. And it benefited from rail investment boom in its home market in Spain to become a world player in a broad technical capability, able to manufacture almost any type of railway vehicle. CAF has supplied rolling stock to a number of major urban transit operators around Europe, including the US, South America, East Asia, India, Australia, and North America. CAF standing for Campania Auxiliar de Ferrocarriles. Sorry about my rubbish pronunciation, but that's what they are. And there goes another CAF. And that's a 331 and it's going to Liverpool Lime Street. The company itself has actually been, who makes them trains, CAF, has actually been going since 1917, specialising in freight car production. And in 1940, a huge factory was set up following the expansion of activity after the Spanish Civil War. CAF took part in reconstructing the Spanish rail fleet. A little bit of useless information for you, but there you go. A massive catalogue of locomotives. And I never knew the Class 397, which is run by TransPennine, is also made by CAF. I didn't know that. They call them the Civity. Class 397, a Civity. And they also run Class 802s, which are called the AT300. And Class 185s that are called Desiros. Apologies for the poor picture, but unfortunately the sun is bouncing right at my lens. This is the best direction for traffic, but if I pointed it the other way, it would have been an improved picture, but there we go. Here we are on the West Coast Main Line. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, a bit of a quiet lull, but there will be something along soon. I think it'll be a Pendolino. I think. Express, 2 minutes, London Euston to Glasgow Central, Class 390, Avanti West Coast Pendolino, closely followed by another Class 390 going to the same destination again, Glasgow Central. And there he goes, the Class 390. Shortly there will be another Class 390 going through. Class 390, and that's an electric train. And only Avanti West Coast use them. And they are actually on lease from a company called Angel Trains. And it uses Fiat Ferroviario's tilting train Pendolino technology, built by a firm called Alstom. They came into service in 2002, so they've been around a while. Been around 23 years, so they're doing alright. They replaced the Class 86 and the 87s and the 90s that used to drag around Mark II intercity carriages. And they were built between 2001 and 2005, and also some were built between 2010 and 2012. And there has been a big refurbishment going on recently, for the last 3 years. You know, new upholstery and one thing and another. But and originally, when they first got them, there was 53 sets. Avanti West Coast owned 53 sets. The trains were all assembled at Alstom's Washwood Heath plant before it closed down in 2005. In 2010 onwards, some of the 9-car sets were extended to 11-car sets. The Pendolino is capable of 140 miles per hour, but signalling and track in this country on the West Coast Main Line restricts it to a maximum of 125 miles an hour, which is 200 kilometres an hour for people who are in kilometres. And all the Alstom fleet, all the Avanti West Coast 390s are all maintained at Longside Depot, which is near Manchester Piccadilly Station. And in 2021 they started a refurbishment programme to upgrade the fleet to as new condition. Which involved adding more power sockets, new customer information screens, new upholstery, and conversion of one first-class carriage to standard class. Obviously, there was a lack of first-class customers. And it was Richard Branson who bought all them. He was behind all that lot with Virgin Trains. In 1997, Virgin took over the West Coast franchise. Up until 1997, it was operated by British Rail. Virgin were given the franchise under the commitment that they would replace the locomotives and rolling stocks that was currently in use at the time, namely Class 86, 87s and Class 90s and Mark II and Mark III coaching stock. Pendolino uses technology that improves passenger comfort levels when traversing curves at high speed by reducing the sideways forces on the train's occupants, minimizing their tendency to slide or move across the carriage. Important to remember, though, this is not the first time we've had a tilting train. We've had a Class 370, which was called the Advanced Passenger Train, but that was unsuccessful. Debatable why it was unsuccessful, because it definitely worked. I think there were more politics involved with that than actual real engineering problems, and it was shelved by a famous female Prime Minister. Because before the Pendolino come along, they were thinking about doing something called the Intercity 250 project, but this was cancelled and all, just before privatisation started to come in. The cost of the 54 9-car units that they originally bought in the first place was 500 million. Pre-series test train was scheduled to be completed to be an active testing by July 2000, whilst the first Pendolino was entered into a revenue service in March 2001. And it would seem that the actual restricted speed of 125 miles an hour is not due to the track, but due to the signalling infrastructure. The lack of signalling upgrades resulted in the maximum line speed being set at 125, 200 km/h, although the Pendolino's in-service top speed is well below British Rail's hopes. So there we go. Probably find that information useless, but there we go. We try. We endeavour to please. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. And double tap your screen if you're watching on a mobile phone. And if you're not watching on a mobile phone, hit that little thumbs up at the bottom. It all helps. Talking of Pendolinos, that's what will be coming through next in approximately 4 minutes. And then we'll get the usual swathe of Transpennine Expresses. We'll get the Edinburgh to Manchester and the Glasgow Central to Liverpool Lime Street, and the Manchester Airport to Edinburgh. Always come through just roughly before the hour and just after the hour. Probably do this stream till about 12 o'clock. It's not going to be a long one today, but we'll see. See how it goes. That's there goes another pendolino, but it's not the one I expected, so I don't know what's going on there. That's hard. That must be late, something late running, because the one I expected is coming towards us. So I can only presume. I don't know what to presume because I haven't a clue. Don't know why that's something late running is that, but I don't know what it is. It's going to London Euston, I can't tell you that much. As they all do, pendolinos, but it's a late runner. Yeah, but where it starts at Glasgow Central to London Euston. Should have passed here at 10:21, but it's 10:24. Quite a lot late. "28 minutes late, to be precise. Somebody ringing me up there on recorded message from Something Resources. It's a load of nonsense. Apologies for the sound, but I have to generate a bit of heat. It's getting cold. Soon gets cold when you've been sat here for a bit. And here we got another pendolino approaching. That is going to Glasgow Central. forget, if you're new here, subscribe, it don't cost anything. Double tap your screen if you're on a mobile. If you're not on a mobile, just hit that little old thumbs up. It all helps. There goes a CAF class 331, and that's on its way to Manchester Airport. I've got two more northern service approaching. Currently one's at Chorley Buckshaw Parkway, and the other one's at Chorley, and they'll both be services from Manchester Airport going to Blackpool North, and they're almost certainly going to be 331s, I think. I think the 323s only go to Liverpool, but I could be wrong. I usually am. Up until about 2 years ago, all the trains that came from Manchester Airport were all diesels, because of the line between Manchester and the West Coast Main Line has only just been recently electrified, about 2 or 3 years ago. So they used to all be diesels. Approaching on the up slow, it's some sort of track maintenance machine. Can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's lighting up blue on the diagram, which tells me it's a departmental track maintenance machine of some description, but don't understand. Don't think it can come here. I just don't know. I don't understand how it can be coming this way, because there's something else on the tracks. I don't know. We will see. But it's on its way. It's going to be some yellow box thing, like a tamper, a rail head cleaner or something along them lines, I think. It's currently on the up slow, which is the second line from the camera. Up is away from the camera. Sorry, yeah, up is away from the camera, and down is towards the camera. We've also got what looks like a TransPennine coming on the up fast, which is the farthest track from the camera. That one is a TransPennine class 802, which they've only just recently purchased in the last couple of years, and that's come from Glasgow and is going to Manchester Airport. And there goes the class 323. It's going to, that's unusual. Why is it lit up blue? Don't get that. Oh, it is, it doesn't. Oh, it's just empty coaching stock, and it's going to Allerton Depot. That's why it's lit up blue. I really I thought it, when it, because it was lit up blue, I thought it was going to be a departmental train, but sorry about that, I'm wrong there. That's the worry. I've got something odd coming, at least I think it's coming, yeah. Warrington Bank Quay to Carlisle up a bit C8 sidings. I don't know what that is, but I'm presuming it's a civil engineer train, that's all it says. So that, I would imagine, is going to be some sort of yellow equipment. In fact, I'll just try and find that head code 6J87. See if I can put that into system, see what it comes up with. 6J87. Currently I've just left Warrington, and it is exactly as I thought. It's a switch and crossing tamper, operated by Colas Rail on behalf of Network Rail. And that'll be here in 16 minutes. And there goes another Transpennine Class 397, also on its way to Manchester Airport. Lots of people travel to Manchester Airport. And that's come from, not 100% sure actually where that's come from. Oh, that came from Edinburgh, did that? I think. And that one's from Edinburgh. That was a Transpennine Class 802. And a Northern Rail Class 331. Going to, right, I don't know where it's going actually, that Transpennine, I'll tell you in a second. Edinburgh Waverley, and 331 was going to Blackpool North, as always. just going to nip out in a second and see if I can improve the camera view slightly. But it's actually not that bad now. The sun's been blotted out by a cloud. I'm not keen on looking at all this greenery at the bottom of the screen. I don't know why. It just annoys me. I suppose if I tilt it up, you're still not going to gain any track or anything extra. That makes sense. Quiet for a moment. Looking at the diagrams now. Can't say we have got a freight train approaching, at least I think it is. No, it's not. It's the track equipment. It is approaching on the down fast at the moment, which is unusual for that kind of equipment to be on the down fast, so I would think it'll get diverted onto the down slow as it gets nearer. It's got a set of points to go up with, two sets of points that they can divert it on. One at Balshaw Junction, and then it's got Exton Junction, two options, so it might get pulled onto the slow line. Unusual for track equipment to remain on the fast line, but you never know. You never know. I can tell you it is number DR7392, and it's got a name. It's called Nathan Hayes. It is a departmental civil engineer, and it's a switch and crossing tamper. Like I say, operated by Corliss, but on behalf of Network Rail. So we'll see what track it uses. approaching now. Something else peculiar approaching as well. Oh no, that's gone through. Oops. Oh, what the hell's that? Looks like more track equipment. Oh no, it's direct rail services it is. Class 66 approaching. A direct rail service class 66 freight train on the, it's currently on the, oh hang on, it might not be coming here. It might be going elsewhere. It's probably going up the East Lancs line. Two approaching and three approaching actually. We've got the track machine, which will be on the second track from the the third track from the cameras at the moment, with another one. There's something else behind it, and we've also got something coming on the up fast, which is the fourth track from the camera. Not sure what it is. Just have to see what comes. Guess you're wondering what that weird sound is. That's somebody dragging something around in the factory nearby. I think we've got a Pendolino coming on the down fast. The up fast, which is the fourth track from the camera. I always get mixed up with ups and downs, but it's up fast to London. It's a 1-2 West Coast Class 390. And on the down fast, we'll be getting a yellow tamping machine, which is not very exciting. It's just like a yellow box on wheels with some claws underneath that you can't see that shake the ballast around. It's quite an interesting machine actually to watch in action. It lifts the rails slightly, and then these claws come down and stab into the ballast, shake it, and then it lowers the rail back down again. Just lifts it a couple of inches, a few inch, just a bit of flex, shakes the gravel, the ballast underneath the sleepers, and then it lowers it back down the rail back onto it as it drives along slowly. But it's not going to be doing that today. It'll just driving through today. They tend to do all that sort of stuff overnight when the tracks are quieter. That's the Northern Class 195 going to Manchester Airport. And here comes the Network Rail tamping machine, operated by Corliss Rail on behalf of Network Rail. Not very exciting, I know, but there we go. It is what it is, as they say. We'll be stopping shortly, going getting some lunch, and then I'll come back and I'll point the camera the other direction, you know, just to try and mix it up a bit. And here on the down slow is another Class 331 on its way to Blackpool Airport. And a Class 323 going to Liverpool Lime Street. What they call local trains here. You know, these two tracks nearest to the camera tend to be used mostly by the local services, even though you do get the airport ones on the two fast tracks. And that was another Northern Class 323 going to Manchester Airport. If memory serves me right, it's calls at Preston, Kirkham, Bolton they filed, and Blackpool. Sorry, not going to Manchester, but it's going to Blackpool North. Calls at Preston, Kirkham, Bolton they filed, and Blackpool North. There goes a Class 331 Northern service to Liverpool Lime Street. Next train away London Euston to Glasgow Central, and our Avanti West Coast service, Class 390 Pendolino. And there is a freight train due, I believe. Quiet me. There goes another Class 390 Avanti West Coast service to Edinburgh. Pardon me. To create a bit of heat, I'm afraid. So it gets cold. Pardon me. Can't stop yawning. I think this is the Manchester Airport to Windermere that's approaching. Doesn't look like there's a pantograph on it. Tell a lie. It's the Manchester Airport to Barrow-in-Furness. So shortly there will be a freight train due. Just trying to locate it now on the diagrams. It's somewhere around Warrington direction at the moment, which is only about 10 minutes from here. It's due through here at 11:48. I don't know what it is. I'm presuming it's going to be a class 60, but I'm not 100% sure. Usually is a class 60, so it's a Horton and Ribblesdale quarry. So we'll just have to see what we get. And S54 is approaching, and 9M52 is approaching, and 1B26 is approaching. 3 trains approaching. I think one's a Pendolino, and I think 2 of them are Northern services. There goes an Avanti, West Coast Class 390, going to London Euston. Il Pendolino. anybody who's just joined us, this is live on the West Coast Main Line in the United Kingdom. The train now approaching looks like another Pendolino. It is. That'll be going up Scotland. It's going to Glasgow Central. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost anything. And give it a thumbs up. That also doesn't cost anything, but it makes it worthwhile. Makes it all worthwhile. This freight train's got lost somewhere. And there goes the Northern. Class 323. Which we got on this line about 3 years ago. They replaced the 319s, which I don't know where they've gone now, whether they've been withdrawn fully or what, but they were 319s, quite boxy, horrible shaped things with a triple window in the front. They looked a bit dodgy. So they replaced them with these 323s that, to be quite honest, I don't think they're much better looking anyway, but think there is a marginal improvement there. But they only go to Liverpool or Manchester Airport. There goes a Trans-Pennine Class 397. I can tell you that is going to Manchester Airport, that one. Also made by CAF, which is the same train that makes the 331s and the 331s and the 195s. Useless information, you're probably thinking, but there you go. We aim to please. Here comes a Class 323, which is also going to Blackpool North. I don't know where this freight train's got to. But there is one due. Went to the quarry. Seems to have got lost in here we've got a Pendolino for some reason is on the down slow, which is odd. This is very unusual. There must be a reason for that, but I just don't know what it is. Obviously something in its way somewhere. I just don't know where. I'm just going to get the diagram up now and see if I can see why that is. Why that is so. Oh yes, there is a. Is there? Yeah, there was something in its way on the. Something in its way on the down fast, so it got diverted onto the down slow just to loop round it. Oh Lord, it's cold. They do it quite often, that if there's a train in the station, there's a station just ahead on the track. If there's a train on the platform in that station, they have to loop the fast lines onto the slow, because obviously the fast trains don't stop at the station, they just go through, so they get looped, you know what I mean, around them. I can tell you now there is something coming on the up fast, which is the farthest track from the camera, head code IM10. What time is it? 12 o'clock. I don't know what it is at 12 this time. I think it'll be a Pendolino. It looks like a familiar code, IM10. And there's all the train approaching on the third track from the camera, which is the train that made the Class 390 have to loop onto the slow line. So I would imagine this is going to be a northern service, unless it's a Transpennine. Could be a Transpennine going slowly. It is a Transpennine, I think, a 397. CAF 397. And that's the reason, that Transpennine is the reason why the Pendolino got looped onto the slow line. The freight train's just come onto the section now, so that'll be here soon. And we have got IM10 coming up on the down fast, which is a Pendolino as I expected. After this freight train's gone through, I'm going to knock it on the head and get something to eat. I'm not hungry, I just want something to drink. I have nothing to drink really. So, but I will return, as they say. Just let this freight train come through, which is about a mile and a half away yet. And I think when it comes, this freight train, I think it'll come in on track 3, which is the down fast, and then it'll get pointed, it'll go on the points onto track 4 to get it onto the branch line, because it's going up the Little Carlisle line, so it needs to get on the farthest track. So I think when it gets close to the camera, it'll get moved on them points that are straight ahead in front of the camera onto the 4th track briefly, and it can navigate onto the branch line, which takes it on the East Lancashire line through Bamber Bridge, Pleasington, Cherry Tree, Blackburn, Daisyfield, Ramsgrave and Wiltshire, Langor, Whalley, Clitheroe, and on to Hellifield, then on up the Settle and Carlisle line to Horton and Ribblesdale, where I do believe there's one actually leaving there and coming back the same way as well, which is due here later on. I think it's due here about 1:45, so I don't think I'll be back in time to get that, unfortunately. If you can see him on the camera, you can see him just on the camera on track 3 and 4. You can just see the points. Well, I think this quarry train's going to cross them points, and it definitely has to get onto the branch line. I know that for a fact, because I know where it's going, so it's going to have to cross them points that are just in front of the camera. It's whether it stays on track 3 on its approach, or it gets moved to track 1 for some reason, but I can't see them moving it to track 1 unless there's something comes in the station, because there's a station about a mile ahead. Now, if there's something in the way, it will get looped, but I don't think so. I will be very surprised. And this train, I'm pretty sure is going to be a class 60. It usually is, doing the quarry train, which is used for very heavy freight. Not got a particular high top speed. I think it's only about 60, but they're well used for heavy freight, as in stone and ballast and steel and things that are very heavy. They have the nickname, they call them tugs, and they're they're always used on very heavy freight. And this sort of thing that it's hauling today. I mean, it could be empty now, because it's going to the quarry, so it could be hauling empties, I don't know, but this is its sort of what it excels at. Heavy freight, but not so much high speed. I don't know what the actual top speed is. Yeah, 60 miles an hour top speed, which I thought it was, but they've got a hell of a lot of power, you know, so they're used primarily for this kind of work. Obviously no use for passenger services because they're not fast enough. It's 2,415 brake horsepower at the rail, so they're quite beefy as far as power is concerned. And DB Cargo, DC Rail, GB Rail Freight operates them in this country, and I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a GB Rail Freight. I'm quite confident. Currently there is 29 in service in the United Kingdom of Class 60s. They call them a Type 5 locomotive, and you know, known for the power, surprisingly. And they entered service in 1990, did the Class 60, which is approaching us now. Just watch, after all this it won't be a Class 60, and I've been waffling on for the past 2 minutes about Class 60s. I should have checked what it were really beforehand, but I didn't. I'm that used to it always being a Class 60, this quarry train. I just took it as granted that it is going to be a Class 60. It looks like a Class 60. I can see the headlights in the distance. But and they became available in late 1990 at a cost of £1.5 million each. And prior to these arriving, they were running at a 264 million annual loss. What? Can't be like that. Over a 3-year period, they lost 264 million. And they turned it into a 44 million profit through the use of these engines. And here we are. As I said, it's gone over the points and switched. Originally, all of them, these locomotives, Class 60s, were owned by EWS after the privatisation of British Rail. To be fair, not according to the sources, it says that everybody was underwhelmed with its, unimpressed by its performance, but it has been retained for heavy freight duties. Apparently some of them have been refurbished, and they call them Super 60s with an increased power, etc., and all that lot. And there we go. And that is going to be the last train of this session. Thanks for watching, thanks for viewing, thanks for thumbs upping if you have done, and thanks for subscribing if you have done. And I will catch you on the next one, which could be quite shortly. I'm just going to go. I desperately need to get something to drink. I'm thirsty. Thank you very much.